So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, someone's asked me in the comment section about Canelo's vegan diet and whether that affected him against Dmitry Bivol, and asked me to give my thoughts. Guys, I'll say this. I don't really want to make any excuses because I think he was beaten by the better man on the night. I think Bivol was just too good for him. But what I will say is this: I found it very strange that he changed to vegan, in the sense that why change something when it's not broke? I said this prior, so I'm not just saying this after the event. I said this prior to the fight, that why change something when it's not broke, when you're on top and you're doing well? There's no need for you to change your diet when you're doing well. But Canelo apparently said that he was feeling good and the diet is helping him in training. He feels like his stomach feels great. And he said he feels really good. So obviously there's no excuses because Canelo said he was feeling really good. But some people are suggesting that maybe made him lethargic. He wasn't as powerful. I don't know if he wasn't as powerful, but I just feel like a diet like that can definitely make you feel weaker, because it's there to really, like vegans, they're lean. Some people say it takes away, your strength. Again, I've never been vegan, so I don't know. I can't really give you from experience, but some people say it does. You need meat. A boxer needs meat in his diet. Some will argue that you don't need meat. I reckon only people that have experienced it and actually done it will probably be able to give a better assessment on how they feel when they're vegan. But when you look at the way Canelo fights and has been fighting of late, he's a guy that is about power, and the way he fought in that fight is power, strength, trying to muscle you and trying to break you down. So it did seem a bit strange that he went vegan, because you'd think that being vegan, are you going to be as strong? Again, I can't really categorically say yes or no because I've never done it. But for me, I just think there was no need for it personally. Why did he need to go vegan for this particular camp? Like I said, if it's not broke, don't fix it, especially when you've gone on such a strong run. I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand the purpose of him going vegan. I think the diet maybe had no bearing on the fight. We don't know. We don't know, but only Canelo knows whether it was a good or bad idea, and how he felt during training sessions and how he felt in the fight. Did he feel as strong? Did he feel as powerful? Surely if they felt it wasn't working, they would have stopped it, because Canelo would have known how he felt. So surely, I don't think it has anything to do with the diet personally. I think he felt good. I think he probably felt good. I think cramp went brilliant. And I just think he got beat by the better man on the night. I don't think his diet had anything to play with it, but I don't really think he should have done that diet personally. I don't think you should play around with it, especially when you're at the peak of your powers. You should just keep doing and eating the stuff that was making it work for you before. Because, like I said, if you're losing and you're trying something different because your training isn't going great, but was his training prior to that fight going great? Was he having great sessions? Was he feeling good? So there's no need for him to change up. Now, obviously, he probably got advice from people that are, qualified professionals. He didn't just start a vegan diet. He obviously got advice from qualified professionals that would have monitored everything. So, I still think it doesn't matter about who gave him the advice and who was monitoring, blah, blah, blah. I just don't think when something's not broke, you don't need to fix it. And he certainly didn't need any fixing, because his performances were immaculate of late. Now, it may have not made any difference. Bivol might have beaten him anyway. I don't think it would have made any difference, because I just think it was the style. I don't think anything. Canelo didn't look off. What I will say is, though, is that his stamina is an issue. Canelo's stamina is an issue, and I think that was definitely highlighted in that fight, that Canelo hasn't sorted out his stamina issue. There's still stamina issues there. I think you guys even mentioned it, that he was gassed off for a couple of rounds. Now, whether that was because he was at a higher weight class, whether that he was trying to throw power punches, whatever it is, but there's definitely an issue there. There's definitely an issue there. A guy that's been in that many championship fights to be gassed like that and look tired, look leggy like that, that's not a good sign. And I even said to you guys that I think the reason why he has those stamina issues, and I said this a year ago when he fought Billy Joe, that Canelo's not going to have to work at a pace where he's going to be tired. He's going to be controlling the pace of the fight. In this fight, he wasn't able to control the pace of the fight, and those stamina issues reoccurred like it did with Golovkin. And a lot of you said to me, Imran, I had a comment recently saying, Imran, you said Canelo would beat Beterbiev. Now all of a sudden you're saying Beterbiev would knock Canelo out. Well, duh, after seeing what I saw and seeing Canelo run out of gas, right? Imagine if he was to run out of gas against Beterbiev, who's a bigger puncher, who's a pressure fighter. Bivol's not a pressure fighter. Bivol was fighting on the back foot for a lot of that fight. Or the center of the ring. He wasn't pushing Canelo back. There was times he had Canelo on the rope, but Beterbiev would probably keep Canelo there on the ropes like Golovkin did for the first fight. That's how Canelo would have to probably fight against Beterbiev. And Beterbiev's a harder hitter. He's more relentless. He's more of a pressure fighter. So imagine what would happen to Canelo's stamina in a fight like that. And then it's a bigger guy leaning on you as well. And then he's hitting you harder. So imagine what would happen to his stamina in that fight. So of course I'm going to say Beterbiev will probably knock him out. Beterbiev knocks out the Canelo that fought Bivol. There's no doubt in my mind. Because Beterbiev hits too hard and he'd pressure him. And Canelo wasn't that elusive. He was getting caught with shots. Now, Bivol is faster than Beterbiev, but Beterbiev is relentless. He's on top of you, doesn't let you move. And he's hitting you with clubbing type shots. You know, I don't see how anyone, after watching that Bivol fight, could think that he beats Beterbiev, irrespective of the styles different, whether Beterbiev is older or slower, irrespective. Canelo doesn't beat Beterbiev on a performance like that, especially when he's running out of gas, because Beterbiev will put him in a position where he'd run out of gas. He's definitely not dictating the pace against Beterbiev. If he couldn't dictate the pace against Bivol, who's not as strong, not as hard a puncher, imagine Beterbiev walking him down and making Canelo work. Canelo's not going to be dictating the pace, and he's going to run out of gas, and his gas tank will run out quicker, and he'll be going into his reserves. Because like I said, Bivol doesn't hit as hard, and he wasn't able to put pressure on Canelo. Because Bivol was fighting, although he's a bigger guy, Bivol was fighting a more safety first, more outboxing him. Beterbiev ain't fighting that safety first fight. He's coming to break you down. And that's gonna be a war. So Canelo's gonna have to have great stamina and great conditioning. And going off what his stamina was like against Bivol, which was a less demanding fight in terms from a physical standpoint, you imagine what it would be like with someone like Beterbiev, where he's gonna be put under a lot more pressure. He's gonna be pushed a lot more. He's gonna be hit a lot harder. You know, it's naturally that I'm gonna say that Beterbiev would stop Canelo on that performance. Canelo would have to be way better than what we saw against Bivol. And most importantly, he's fighting up our weight class where he's putting on more size. So he's naturally going to be slower. He's naturally going to be more gassed. And then when there's a guy like Beterbiev who's going to make things worse, he's going to gas quickly. So I don't think Beterbiev knocks him out in the sense that Canelo's chin won't be able to stand. I just think he might wear him down to the point where Canelo is gassed and Canelo's tired. Because although as good as Bivol was, and Bivol was able to make Canelo tired, he's still not as strong as Beterbiev, and he's not able to wear Canelo down to the point where Canelo's like literally on, exhausted. Against Beterbiev, you could imagine him on the ropes, like literally exhausted, where he's got nothing left, and Beterbiev just bangs away and stops him. That's how that one could play out if Canelo doesn't rectify his stamina issues. Now, I don't know whether those, again, you can't even say it was the vegan diet, because Canelo's had stamina issues for a long time. In the Golovkin fight, it showed, he's had stamina issues for a while, and I just think this is something that you can't get rid of. Look at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor has stamina issues. For me, there's certain fighters that have these issues. You just can't, like Joshua's an extreme case. He throws a few punches and he looks like he's blowing and he's gassing. Joshua's another one. It's not the fact that Joshua's not a very well-conditioned athlete. Of course he is. He trains all his hard. I just think in a fight, that's just how they become when they're tired. They seem gassed and leggy, and Canelo's like that. Not as bad as nowhere near like Joshua, but Canelo has stamina issues. There's definitely issues there. It doesn't, like when he's under pressure, when he's dictating the pace, like in the Plant fight, he wasn't really gassed. It was pretty easy for him. The Billy Joe fight, same. The Callum Smith fight, because those fights were fought at his pace. When the fight's not being fought at his pace and he's being he's being made to work harder than what he likes, he gasses his conditioning, and that's got nothing to do with vegan diet. That's just the way he is. That's something that he's been struggling with for a while, you know, in fights where he's put under pressure. He doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like, you know, his cardio, his conditioning is in a fight, he looks like he tires. So that's something that's not been rectified, and of course they've looked into it. Of course they've tried to rectify it. But for me, it's just come down to a point where I don't think they can rectify it. I think the way I think Canelo will look gassed more if he moves up, because, you know, he's putting on more weight. But I think the only way it can be slightly gotten better is if he's fighting at lower weight classes. But even then, right, when he fought Golovkin, that was at 160, and he still looked gassed in that fight. And in the next fight, he came in lighter, and it did help him. He wasn't as gassed. But now, if he's fighting at 175 with that much weight on, because Canelo came in massive in the first fight, and he gassed. So that's, again, something that they probably need to look at. In the second fight, he was a lot more slim and a lot more trim, right? And he didn't gas. So again, this is what I'm trying to say, but how much smaller? I mean, at 175, how can Canelo come in trim? You know, he's fighting at a weight class which is above his weight, you know, above his weight limit, and he's going to tire. He's got more mass on. He's going to tire. And he's throwing power punches on top. He's going in there throwing power punches. He's going to tire with all that muscle, extra muscle that he's carrying. Like I said, at 160, he gassed out against Golovkin. He looked massive against Golovkin the first time, and he gassed. But the second time, he came in really thin. You know, he lost a lot, taken off a lot of muscle, and he looked much better. So that's probably a way to go. But at the higher weight classes, he can't come in thin. You know, he has to come in with some kind of mass, otherwise he's giving away so much. So again, this is what I'm trying to say, that for me, he definitely has got some kind of stamina thing going on. And I think that is what needs to be looked into. And I don't think that can be rectified. I think if the right opponent puts Canelo under pressure, makes him fight a fight, you know, a fight where, you know, he's having to exert more energy than he likes to, be having to fight a fight that, you know, when Canelo wants to rest, having to make the other guys making him work. Canelo, for me, is going to struggle. He's going to struggle, and he's going to definitely show signs of fatigue. Because I think we've got enough examples now throughout his career to show that he definitely struggles when a guy is able to push him back and make him work, make him uncomfortable. Canelo will definitely gas, and Beterbiev would be a horrible nightmare style. I've said, and if you look at my breakdown for the Beterbiev fight, I've said this, that Beterbiev will be able to make Canelo work at a horrible pace, a pace that he wouldn't like. So Canelo wouldn't be in control of the pace. He won't dictate the pace. He can dictate the pace against non-punchers and guys that he has no fear of hurting him. But when it's a guy that's bigger and stronger and is hurting him, firstly, it's not just the physical pressure, it's the mental pressure they're putting on as well. Someone like Beterbiev would be putting a lot of mental pressure on Canelo, because his presence right on top of him is gonna tire him, because Beterbiev is just going to be right on top of him all night. So that's going to mentally drain you. Then the physical draining of a bigger man hitting you hard, you know, that's going to drain you. So he's going to have two things to worry about, like he did with Golovkin. Hence why in the first fight his energy drained quickly. And he came in light for the second Golovkin fight, which helped him. But he can't come in light against these 175 guys. He's going to have to put on muscle, which doesn't need to be there. Hence why at 168 he can cope. 175 might just be a step too far because of the size he has to put on it, and he's naturally going to tire. Look against Kovalev. He didn't look too good. He looked sluggish. But again, Kovalev, even though I don't think Canelo's stamina was great in that fight, but Kovalev wasn't presenting any pressure. Kovalev wasn't pushing Canelo back. Canelo was the pressure. Canelo was pushing Kovalev back in that fight. Kovalev was just boxing a very negative. Kovalev didn't throw hardly any big punches, any big power punches in that fight. So Canelo wasn't under any pressure, of so to speak. He wasn't under any pressure. Because Kovalev was kind of boxing and just using his jab and trying to control the fight that way. Canelo wasn't under any kind of mental pressure or even that much physical pressure, because Kovalev wasn't really hitting him with many big shots. It was Canelo that was draining Kovalev. But against Beterbiev, it's a different fight, because Beterbiev is going to walk you down. That's how he fights. He's going to walk you down. He's going to put you under a lot of pressure. So it's going off the performance on the weekend, of course I'm going to say that I think Beterbiev stops Canelo, because I just saw Canelo at 175 and he didn't look great. He didn't look great. Let's be brutally honest, he looked bad. He looked bad. Let's be brutally honest, he didn't look good against Bivol. And Beterbiev is going to make him work at a pace that he doesn't like. And a much more busier pace, where Canelo's conditioning is going to have to be even better. And he's got power. He's going to have power like Canelo's not seen before. Because Beterbiev hits harder than Golovkin. You know, you're not telling me a 160 fighter hits harder than a big puncher at 175. So again, when I make these assumptions, it's not that I'm going off Canelo. No, I'm just giving you my honest opinion on what I see. I don't see how the Beterbiev fight is physically and mentally a much harder fight for Canelo. When it comes to him draining and gassing out and stuff, Beterbiev is going to be a horrible fight for Canelo. If you don't see it, then you probably is because you're too much a Canelo fan to see it. But I'm telling you, it's a much more dangerous fight. The Bivol fight is one where he got outboxed, and he's still, like I said, I don't think it was the pressure or the power of Bivol. I think it was the fact that Canelo was loading up on big shots, and Canelo putting on that extra muscle didn't help his cardio. But that's going to be a problem against Beterbiev. But the only difference is Beterbiev is going to be making Canelo work at a pace he's not going to like, and Beterbiev is going to be hitting him with harder shots that are going to be draining him. So, and he's going to be on top of him, which is going to be putting a lot of mental pressure on him as well. So he's going to be getting drained a lot more than what he was against Bivol. So it's not the case where I think Beterbiev is going to hit him with a shot and Canelo's just going to fall. No, it's going to be the constant breakdown if Beterbiev fights like he normally does. The only chance Canelo would have is Canelo hits him with something and hurts him and is able to stop Beterbiev in his tracks, which he may not be able to. He may not be able to stop Beterbiev in his tracks. Because if Beterbiev takes his best shot, which we've seen that Bivol could, so why couldn't Beterbiev? Yeah, Beterbiev has been down. It doesn't matter if Beterbiev has been down. That doesn't mean that, he's been down by big guys. So there's nothing to say that Canelo will hurt Beterbiev. And if he doesn't hurt Beterbiev, then for me, it's going to be impossible for Canelo in that fight. So yeah, that's my take on it. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Was it his vegan diet that didn't help Canelo? I don't think so. I think it was just the fact that Bivol was a really good boxer. But I do think that there was no need for him to go vegan. Like I said, if it's not broken, there's no need for a fix. But that's just my take. Canelo did what he did, and we'll see what he does in the future. But yeah, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.